Hi everyone, this is Susie. So today I'm going to make a little bit of a random video. I'm going to start with my twist sponges. That the other day I made a video saying that these sponges don't smell like the regular ones do. Well, about a couple days later, Manny was washing the dishes, and we usually wash our dishes with like our eco-friendly soap. And I have the other regular soap. I think it's the blue one, the Dawn or Down, however you pronounce it. And I don't usually use that dish soap unless it's something that is really hard to get off, like grease and stuff like that. So I use it very infrequently. But for some reason he started using that soap to wash the dishes, and like the next day I noticed that the sponge was smelly like the other ones, and I was like, what is going on? I'm like, why is this sponge smelly? I just made a video saying that these sponges don't smell. Well, it just clicked that I think that what doesn't make it smell is the soap, not necessarily the sponge. So I needed to make another video letting you guys know, so that if you're using this but you're probably still using the store-bought, regular dish soap, and you're like, this thing still smells, I think it's the soap, not necessarily the sponge. So I apologize for that. I had not made that connection. I think that maybe when I started using these sponges, I probably at the same time started using this type of soap. So that's when I noticed that, oh, my sponges don't smell anymore. I thought it was a sponge, but it was actually probably the soap. So just so you know, okay? And then the other thing that I wanted to share with you guys is just a few little tips that I do to create less waste. One of them is that I make my own hankies. These are handmade hankies that I just bought some fabric at the fabric store, and I just by hand. You don't even need a sewing machine. I just hem. I think it's what you call a hem. Hemmed them by hand. You can make them as big or small as you want, and I just made a whole bunch of them. That way I always have some available in my purse if I go for a walk, wherever. I always have these all around the house, so that way I don't use that much toilet paper or Kleenex and things like that. So I've had these for a while and I absolutely love them. So that's another little tip. The other thing that I do is, like, I live across the street from like a taqueria, so I go there all the time. It's like a place that I go there often. And every time I went, they would give me like my paper bag with my tacos or burritos, whatever it is that I ordered, and I would feel bad because I'm like, I don't know what to do with these bags. I feel bad throwing them out, even if it's recycled and stuff. So I just kept a few, and then when I go there, I take my bag and I just tell them to put everything in my bag. And I always make sure when I go places, like fast food places or something, to say, don't give me any extra napkins, don't give me any extra like forks, knives, and things like that, because they're gonna end up, I don't have any use for them, so don't give them to me. So whatever you don't need, just tell the people beforehand not to put anything in your bag. So they just put my food in here. They already know I do that. Maybe people think, oh, she's weird. I really don't care. I care more about my planet than I care about what people think, if they think I'm weird or cheap or whatever. I don't care. So that's a little tip. The other thing that I do is when I go, like, let's say I go to a family gathering, and when I go to my husband's family, they always make a lot of food. So there's always a lot of leftover food, and I know that already. So I take my little containers. Sometimes I'll even call them, what are you guys making? beforehand, so I know what containers to take in case there's leftover food, of course. So if there is leftover food, that way they don't have to give me containers, and then I have to wash them and give them back, and then, you know what I'm saying? So I just take my containers. So I'll take some containers, and that way, if there's extra food, I just bring my containers back with the food that was left over. So that's another thing that I do. The other thing that I started doing was that I'll do the same thing with, like, the restaurant that we go to. Like, we often go to the same Thai restaurant, and I just bring my containers because we always usually have the same amount of food left over, so that they don't have to give me, paper or plastic or whatever containers. I just bring my containers. I bring them in a cute little bag. I set them, by the table. And when we are done eating, I just pull out my containers. I put the leftover food in here, and I bring it back home. That way, they're not giving you extra containers and bags and napkins and all these things that I have no use for, and they're already here in my containers and in my glass containers, which I prefer versus the plastic. So that's another thing that I do. And then the other thing is that I have this little bag that I got at, I think it was Marshall's. I got it. I think it's a makeup bag. So I picked it out, and I have my Starbucks, or you can use obviously any what's this called? You know what I mean. Any of these has it with a straw. So let's say I go to like Taco Bell or something, and you're gonna order something, and they're gonna give you a cup for your drink. I'll just order the drink, or I'll tell them I have my own cup, don't give me a cup, so they can see what size it is and they can know what to charge me, you know? And I will put my drink in here, and then I also bring my homemade napkins, my reusable napkins. So I bring like a couple of these, and then I bring in a little bag some clean forks, spoons, and knives. And then I have an extra bag where I put the dirty ones. So once I'm done using these, oops, I will sometimes like roll them in a paper, like a paper towel or something. If they're like super dirty, I'll just put them, like roll them in one. Or even you can roll them in like one of these. Put them in here, and then when I get home, I bring it into the house. I wash these, of course, dry them out, put them back in the bag. Clean out this bag, put it back in, put some new napkins in there, wash this out, put it back in, and then I'll just put it back in the car, and I keep this in my car. So when I go to the fast food places, I just bring out my little bag, and I bring out all my utensils. That way I'm not using extra, you know, forks and knives and all those things, napkins, and, you know, throwing that out. So that's another thing. And then the last thing is this creamer that my niece got for us the other day. We went to her house and she had this creamer for the vegan folk that was coming over. So this is, if you haven't tried it, it's the Pecan Caramel Califia Farms, I think, almond milk creamer. Oh my goodness. This is so good, you guys. Oh my goodness, it smells delicious. It's really thick, so I'm going to see. So it's pretty thick. However, when you put it in your coffee, it doesn't make it like super creamy. You really have to add quite a bit to it to make it creamy. So, but it will give you like this pecan caramel flavor. So if you like pecan caramel flavor, you're going to like this. If you don't, then don't try it out. But this is really good, and it's vegan. Woo! Baby, I love it. So, oh yes, she gets this at Target. I haven't found it. When I go there, they usually have, I think, a couple other of the flavors. They don't usually have this one, so you kind of have to look around. I don't know who else might carry it, but if you guys want to try it out, I really liked it. So I think that's it. If you guys have any questions, please let me know. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day. Talk to you soon. Bye.